The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Brought to you by Burkins Chevrolet. If you're from GA or FLA, you should be driving a Burkins Chevrolet. Come on.
Hit it. Oh, it's time for the 10-minute drill. Jeff Prosser, Lauren Rue in for Dan Hickman today. Hello. Lauren, good morning.
Good morning.
She forgot her laptop. She's subjecting herself to potential disease with that just nasty keyboard over there. I think you all driving into work today, you know the keyboard we're talking about. You all work with somebody that keeps a keyboard that looks like that.
Most, CSI Hogan Road.
And then you also work with some of those that
no ultraviolet light, please, on this. I don't want to know.
Black light that thing, you're going to end up in therapy.
Blind.
Yeah. Therapy. And then there's also, by the way, the exact opposite, and everyone's worked with this one too, who is constantly like spraying antibacterial on their stuff. And
Hacker does have some 3M duster that, by the way, you have to have like an ID to buy that stuff. Just FYI.
People like to tip it over and huff it.
Yes.
What just happened?
There was did you ever watch the show Intervention?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There was a woman who got hooked on that, and she would sing. It was one.
Yeah,
anyway,
my best friend's brother did that while driving.
Feel good story.
It was a bad idea.
Yes.
So anyway, there's that. Contract and money and financials or sports is my pet peeve in what we do. Yeah. I don't like talking contracts or stalemates or financial either loopholes or bonus. It just annoys me. I just like the game part of it, right? But there's another one. We talked about the Jags situation with Unique Ngakoue, and that is what it is. But there's also this in this whole Kevin Durant deal.
Okay.
Kevin Durant has a player option with Golden State. He tore his Achilles last night trying to come back and play for them in the finals. Is it dirty if Kevin Durant just takes his player option to stay in Golden State, make 31, knowing he's not going to be able to play next year?
Oh, that's a great question.
Right?
Is it dirty?
Is that dirty?
I don't know. Is it any dirtier than leaving a team and joining a team? I mean, really.
She can't. These Oklahoma, they can't get over that one, B.
No, but I'm kind of serious, right? You keep him on the hook for $31 million. Does Bob Myers really start crying after the fact?
Yeah,
I mean, if that's the case.
Is he misunderstood then, Bob? Is he just?
Ooh.
And if you are another team, are you willing to pay Kevin Durant $40 million a year and knowing that he's going to sit one of those years? Jeez. This really
and not just sit, Jeff, but like the assumption that the comeback from a torn Achilles.
That's fair.
We're assuming, right? I mean, the reports today are that the Warriors are waiting to confirm it.
That's fair because I keep saying he tore his Achilles. Right. I'm not sure that
they're assuming that's what happens. They'll do the MRI today and get confirmation. But right,
it's not fair.
No, it isn't. Their life's not fair. That's the truth. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not just. That's what I think of. It's not just the year. It's the year, the rehab. Can he come back? Is he full strength again? And I need to do a little more research with regard to Achilles comebacks.
They're long. No, they're long. They're like a year.
I know, at least.
Yeah.
I want to say like 18 months. Maybe I made that up. But I feel like
I did see they gave a list of the most recent Achilles injuries among stars, and the longest was a little less than a year.
Yeah.
From the time they injured to the first game they played. So, but all of them are at least 10 months.
Yeah.
Like 10 months to a year. So.
Yeah.
I just wonder, with this player option now, I guess Kevin says, okay, I'll just stay here in Golden State and, get paid a year just to. Now, the other side is, if there is an argument, did Golden State push him into action too quick and too soon and too much?
Yeah,
I think he wouldn't play.
I think he would. I'm with you.
You're cleared.
On that.
You're cleared. It's just bad luck.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the nature of it, no doubt. All right, can we switch to the College World Series for a moment here?
Absolutely. I've been enjoying it.
And the run that Mike Martin has been on and Florida State and this kind of swan song for him. And everybody kind of thought the luck can just run out at some point. You travel to Baton Rouge, a rowdy place to go play. Got to win 2 of 3 on the road. And they do exactly that. Took extra innings to get the Game 3 done, but head to their what seems like 700th College World Series under Mike Martin.
17th.
Is this the story of the College World Series?
I think so. Yeah, well, it definitely is around here, but I think so. I think, this is Bobby Bowden trying to win a national title in his last attempt. And Lauren, literally a phrase was coined around FSU and their baseball failures, 0 for 2 in a barbecue. That's what was said around here. I mean, Mike Martin, for all his regular season success, his trips to the College World Series, the fact that they never won one, and not only did they not win one, but like I said, they'd go lose 2 straight and be home by Thursdays a lot of the week. So, I think trying to beat back that past, if you're him, and the fact that he's, if he's not the winningest coach in college baseball history, he's got
to be up to.
I think he may have broken that this year. Beep, can you check that?
So they'll take on an Arkansas team who, if you recall from last year, was one foul ball out away from winning the national title.
Wow.
I mean, literally, they missed a foul ball. It was one of those, I got it, you got it. Mm-hmm. The ball drops, and then it was over from there. So kind of redemption story, Arkansas trying to get back into it. That's who Florida State will face in the opening round for them. Michigan and Texas Tech, Auburn and Mississippi State, and Louisville and Vanderbilt.
Yes, Mike Martin now number one all time.
Right?
Yeah,
the number one.
Augie Garrido.
Yeah, so I think that.
R.I.P. by the way.
Yes,
in addition, to just the fact that it's his last one, I can't imagine that he won't be front and center. The top story out there. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we've talked about Yannick Ngakoue, from a minicamp standpoint, but, other than that, it'll be at least, a little bit refreshing to have everyone here. I do think other than Yannick they are, which means, Nick Foles gets to try and complete a pass on Jalen Ramsey and not Quentin Meeks, right?
What will the hottest sports take be to come out if Nick Foles throws 2 interceptions to Jalen Ramsey?
Well, the hot take will be who needs voluntary workouts from Jalen's standpoint. And the hot take on the other side is, well, we know Nick Foles throws interceptions. And then the hotter take will be, being banned from future practices for telling anyone that those things happen.
That's a good point.
I've been doing media for many, many, many moons. This Jaguars policy on what you can say and not
tight.
say.
Yeah.
I think it's better if I just stay away. I'll break it the first day, right? I mean, if I go down there and beef,
You'd be uninvited.
All right, I'll have the station on some sort of Jaguar probation. So I do think, though, that
I mean, which would you rather see? Do you want to see Nick Foles be close to perfect against Jalen or that secondary, or do you want to see there be some competition between the two of them there?
I will not take not one even scintilla of insight out of what these guys are doing in minicamp. It's just not. Tony Biselli had a good point yesterday. It almost leads to making mistakes because you're not going full speed. I mean, football is a full speed, padded.
Yeah, it's really not fair to tell.
Yeah, right. You just can't. You're probably making a mistake. Now, look. The one thing that Blake Bortles gave us insight into was the complete lack of accuracy. That was scary. Nick Foles isn't going to have that. He may throw a pick, but I think Nick Foles has proven himself, with his play in the regular and postseason what he is. But
didn't Biselli say yesterday that he wouldn't be surprised if Telvin Smith showed up?
He did, but I don't think he's going. And he even said on the air he's not. I guess it was more like would it surprise anyone if he showed up.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't hear the context of it.
No, I don't. He was not using any information.
Right,
that he
wasn't
had.
implying that he would be
No,
more
it's
likely.
just and by the way, I think that's a fair guesstimate.
Sure.
I mean, when a guy leaves out of nowhere and you have no idea, then I certainly think
if
it
he
would.
shows up out of nowhere, I guess
It would be fun. This David Ortiz Big Poppy deal is weird. I mean, first of all, it looks like an assassination attempt, not a robbery.
Yes.
And so that to me, and by the way, too, I understand that Mass General is one of the best hospitals on the East Coast. But if you think that the Red Sox flew the jet down there to get Poppy out just for the medical care he can get here, I don't think so. I think that's a protective move for him a little bit as well.
This is naive on my part, but the amount of love and support that just people all over the place on social media anyway and everywhere else came out for David Ortiz and the support for him. I don't know that there was one person that I saw that was just gushing and overflowing at how big of a loss this could have been in the baseball community and really kind of outside of it as well. People love him.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't realize that outside of Boston, people even really love him.
They, so many of those island nations that have baseball superstars, those guys become, I was in Puerto Rico. I went to high school in Puerto Rico. I went to high school with the Clemente kids, Roberto Clemente's sons. And I mean, Roberto and I went to Puerto Rico. We moved there in 82. So that's 11 years after Roberto Clemente had passed. And he was still, icon in Puerto Rico. He probably still is today. I mean, just 10 years after, everything in Puerto Rico was named after Roberto Clemente baseball related. So they really take on these larger-than-life personas, and you forget also how small population-wise the Dominican Republic is.
Yeah.
But like I said, then the mystery becomes, well, who wanted David Ortiz dead?
Yes.
And so that becomes the the intriguing part here. Not intrigued to the point that it threatens someone's health, certainly, but
not to tell him he can't go back to his homeland. But I don't know that I'd be ever.
That's what I'm
I'd
saying.
Be out the door and get my family out and everybody out, and I'd be done.
I think the team. I think the Red Sox jet is.
Yeah, not that couldn't happen in the United States.
That's true too, but I think getting him out of there is there's probably a dual purpose there. All right, I have one last thing. Are you women's soccer fan at all? Has the World Cup grown on you? You're younger than me. Did you grow up playing soccer? Has soccer been more in your wheelhouse than others?
Sure. So I attempted to play soccer 1 year. I broke my arm. My dad was the coach, and he was so annoyed because I broke my arm before the season even started, and he was committed to coaching the team. And after that, I didn't really play again.
That is the worst, by the way.
Seriously, my dad was so pissed. He was like, are you kidding? He's like, I signed up to do this, and then you can't even play.
I don't want to question toughness, but you can play with a broken arm.
You can. Now, a broken elbow with 3 pins in it.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah,
I didn't know
like
that part. That's a developing story.
So that I don't come off like I am just exclusive of women's soccer. I don't watch men's soccer either.
Yeah.
So when you ask me, now here's what I will do.
To me, those two are like the same. When it comes to the World Cup, congrats, ladies. They've gotten to the point, to me, the Women's World Cup, at least from the U.S.
Yes. The women's team is better than the men's team.
Well, that's for sure.
So to answer your original question, though, I will pay attention when it's like if they make it as far as they make, and it becomes this. I'm absolutely the bandwagon. Hey, I remember when the U.S. played Ghana, or I think that's what it was a few years ago.
They had gotten a win. They needed to beat them, and they didn't.
Right, exactly. That was, we were at a bar, and we make a party out of it, right?
Sure.
It becomes this event versus, I couldn't name anybody that plays.
Yeah, the only difference in the men and I bring this up, the U.S. women, I'm pretty sure debut today. I think they play this afternoon at 3. That's why I bring it up. The only difference between the Men's World Cup and the Women's World Cup for me is I will find myself, I can settle into a Men's World Cup game that doesn't involve the U.S., only because there's Ronaldo and Messi and there are these stars, where in the women's game I can't tell you a player that's not on the U.S. roster. So, but when it comes to actually watching the U.S. play, I can just as easily watch a women's game from start to finish as I could a men's game.
And they do take on Thailand today at 3 o'clock.
Right, yes, today. Okay, so that debut for the women in the World Cup, and the U.S. again. The U.S. women are once again one of the heavy favorites at the World Cup. All right, we got a lot more to get to today. It's Catlin Truck Accessories Tuesday. Big toys for big boys, much more. You can count on Catlin in business now for almost 100 years. I have a 100-year celebration, and this is just a family-run operation. It just shows you how good the business has been for all these years. CBS Sports has ranked NFL divisions by their quarterbacks. How much of a boost does the South get from Nick Foles joining the fray here? I'd like to delve into that list just a little bit when we come back on the other side. Right now, because we're givers and because we're all about the forgotten holiday, Father's Day, we have a prize pack for you. Just be caller number 4 right now at 641-1010. And we're back with more next here on The Drill.
Call number 4 right now, 641-1010. Going to get a selection from the Father's Day gift guide at 1010XL.com. They're going to get a $25 gift card from Edwin Watts, a voucher for the 18-hole simulator with TrackMan, and a beer from Coastal Indoor Golf, a $25 gift card from Shooters, plus a $25 gift certificate to Woodcraft, all for caller number 4 right now, 641-1010.